Welcome to today's numeracy class. We are going to be looking at graphs, which involves collection of data. So we are going to be looking at collecting data using graph to present data. Our objective for today, we are going to use graph to present data that we have collected, and we are going to look at three types of graph for today. What is a graph? A graph is a way to show and compare information. There are three types of graph we are going to be looking at today. Okay, so now let's look at this. When we have, for example, you collect information in the classroom, how many number of boys in primary 3 classes and the number of girls in primary 3 classes. You can represent that using graphs like line plots, bar graphs, and picture graphs. So we are going to be looking at that one at a time. So this is a line plot. A line plot is a graph on a number line. Remember your number lines, right? So the X above the number shows how many pieces of data that apply to that number in the graph. For example, this is a graph showing the books read by students, and we have the number of books below. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From this graph, I can ask you how many number of students read 5 books. With this, you'll be able to answer me, right? How many numbers do we have there? We have 4. I can also ask how many number of students read 2 books. What do we have there? 2 students. Right. Okay. In the other way, I can also ask how many books were read by 1 student. The answer there is what? Is 4. Right? So this the graph help us to show what the information we have collected and put it in a numerical form. So now we are going to be looking at the second, which is a bar graph. This is a bar graph. A bar graph uses bars of different lengths to present and compare data. The number that is along the side of the graph are called scales. So we have the S scale and the Y scale. The X is the line horizontally, while the Y is the one lying vertically. Remember our vertical and horizontal line. So this graph is showing the types of tree in a park. We have oak, pine, and maple trees. From this, you'll be able to know how many trees, the number of oak trees that you can find in a location. From this graph, we have 6, right, at the Y axis. You can see the scale there. We have 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. What about marble tree? We have 8 marble tree. What about pine trees? We have 4 pine trees. Okay, so this is how we can represent what data using what? A bar graph. Now lastly, we are looking at a picture graph. A picture graph uses symbols or pictures to present and compare data. In a picture graph, it has a key. Down below you can see key that each of the circle represents 2 what? Basket. The key tells us how many number of each kind the symbol represents. For example, this is a graph showing a collection of data of baskets of apples that were picked by Maurice, Megan, Matthew, and Nicole. For example, Maurice, there you can see 4 circles, but it's not 4 baskets, okay? Because each of the circle represents 2 baskets, meaning that Maurice picked what? 8 baskets of apples. Do we understand? What about Matthew? We also have 4 circles there. When we multiply it, because each circle represents 2 baskets, so we have 4 times 2, which will give us 8 baskets. So Matthew has what? 8 baskets of apples that were picked. So now let's look at what we have learned today. First, we looked at 3 types of graph: the line plot, the bar graph, and the picture graph. And then secondly, We looked at also a line plot is a graph on a number line that uses X to show how many pieces of data there are, and then a bar graph uses bars of different length to present our compared data, and picture graph uses pictures.